Hey guys, welcome to Below the Surface, a podcast where we explore the journeys and mindsets of successful people. I'm your host, Dan Argent, and I'm really excited to bring you my guest today. Her name's Emma Taylor, and she's the founder of Injects Clinics. Emma started the business in 2015, and she's built it up to be a thriving success along with the help of her sister. Then one day in 2017, she woke to the news that her clinic had burnt to the ground. Showing incredible resilience, and with the help of the people around her, Emma rebuilt the clinic to be bigger and better than ever before. Now she's even looking at expanding the business and opening up in more locations. Join me as I talk to Emma today about winning the Young Entrepreneur of the Year, her passion for the cosmetic industry, what it takes to be a leader, and how she has built up such a successful business. So, please join me as we dive below the surface with Emma Taylor. Emma Taylor, thank you so much for joining us today on Below the Surface.
You're welcome.
What does success mean to you?
I think looking at the reason why I started the business in the first place and making sure that vision is fulfilled would define success in business for me. So previously I was working at another clinic and there was a massive turnaround in staff. Like each month you'd see staff leaving. And also the way that the clients were treated as well, I just really didn't like it. So for me, I wanted to make a change where all of my staff are happy. I think if the staff are happy, then it's going to reflect on the clients, and the clients are happy. And also what's doing best for the clients as well.
Southwest Airlines say the same thing. Southwest Airlines say that their clients are their staff, and then the passengers are their clients, like the staff's clients, and they have the highest customer service ratings anywhere. So I guess culture, and I know in your business you don't believe in commissions, is that right?
Exactly. That's so crazy how did you know? Did I tell you?
No, you didn't tell me. We've done a bit of research.
Well, that was one of the things and that's how a lot of clinics work as well.
All clinics that I'm aware of, I've never heard of any that aren't on a commission basis.
Yeah. So I just don't think it's right that the nurses are paid commission. So the more the nurses sell to the client, the more that nurse makes. So I think that it's a very ingenuine relationship they're just trying to sell you products or services. So by paying our nurses just a wage, no matter what they're giving to the client, they're all getting paid the same. So you know that interaction is going to be true.
It's honest,
and it's going to be honest advice that the nurse is giving to the client. And I think that's also why Injects Clinics has done so well, because people see that and they like that and they appreciate it.
Yep. You see it in clothing, right? Like I'm sure you had an experience. I mean, maybe not you, but you know when you go and like try something on and you know it doesn't look great or feel great, and you come out of the change room and they're like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. That was my, I don't know, kind of female or gay. But anyway, and you know it doesn't, and you trust nothing that they say after that.
But not only that, I think the industry that I'm in, some women are even quite vulnerable when they come in. And so if they're feeling bad about themselves already and they want to feel better, they want to look better, and someone says to them, oh, okay, you need this, 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 and this.
They're going to do it.
Then sometimes they'll just do it. And I just think that's so wrong.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. So in business, it sounds like what success is to you is if you've got happy staff, happy clients, the culture's how you want it. What about for you personally though? What does success look like?
I think I'm actually yet to reach it. So I would love to have like my own family and to be able to provide for my family and have a nice balance between work and life, and I'm working on it.
Yeah, nice.
Just a nice family life.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, which is success, right? That balance between the two.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, that's the dream.
That's the dream.
Just got to find the right man.
Yeah. What inspired you to get into injectables? How did that all come about? How did you start?
It sounds super corny.
Good, tell us.
I love caring for people. So when I left school, I did early childhood care, so caring for kids, and then I did disability care, so looking after people with disabilities, and I went into nursing to care for people. through my university, that's when my university training, that's when I was caring for people with disabilities. And as rewarding as it was, I would do a lot for these people with zero appreciation.
Yep.
Then after that, I went and worked at a general practice, and we started to incorporate some of the injectables. And I just do the tiniest thing for someone and they'd be like, oh my God, I love it so much.
Wow.
And they were so, so happy. So coming from, it's like one extreme to the other. So yeah, it's beautiful. I feel very honored to be able to work in this line of.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I guess you do, like people maybe come in and they're not happy with a part of their body or something like that, and you can just make them feel so much better about themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. And having that connection with people is really nice too.
Yeah. Yeah. So nice. But what's been the journey like from when you started? You've got this great business now, you've got 20 staff, but like how did it all begin?
So I started working at a general practice. So I had to do a little bit of injectables there as well as general practice. And then it was what I love. So I went to work for a clinic. Really hated the atmosphere there with the staff turnaround and the way that the clients were being treated. So I thought, do you know what? Like I want to go out. It was an idea, a thought. I want to go out on my own. And
it always starts that way.
So anyway, I spoke to, his name's Todd. He's one of the guys who runs the Snap Fitnesses.
Okay.
Because I didn't know where to start or what a commercial lease was or how to go about it. So he said, okay, I'll email you a commercial template, a lease template. So I said, okay,
how old are you at this point?
Gosh, I don't know. I think I was like 24 or
Awesome.
something. It's pretty young.
Wow.
So he emailed it and stupid me opened it at work. And so, yeah, I didn't know that they monitored the computers.
Wow.
So they caught onto it and they gave me an instant dismissal.
Oh.
So I thought, wow, I have to do this now. Like I was forced to do it. I said, you know, I've got to make the most of this.
Yeah.
So that's when it all started.
Yeah. And so did you lease that space?
No, well, I was still a little bit scared. I started off just renting a room out of a beauty salon, and then it grew and grew and grew where I really needed a space, and that's when I had a look at the template and went on to look at properties, and it grew from there.
When you're facing that fear, and I totally get it. Like you're kind of going from being an employee to starting your own show. And I guess you think, what if it's fails? Is that,
yes.
You know, how do you get past that? Because that's a stopping force that actually stops most people. So is it the fear of regret? Is that the biggest thing that drives you through that?
The fear of regret and also not wanting to let my clients down.
Okay.
Because I thought, well, if I didn't do this, then it's not going to be beneficial to them. That they're going to find it harder to get in. They deserve a nicer space. And I think also the drive comes from not only wanting to do it for yourself, but wanting to do it for other people. So before I was talking about doing it for a family, like a family that I don't even have yet. I want to be able to provide for them. So if you think of working for other people, like working towards something for other people and not just yourself, I think you'll find more drive there.
And I guess you were never going to get that where you were. So like that's the path that you've got to take.
Yeah, yeah. And then when the old clinic burnt down, I was faced with these two options: just take the insurance money and run and go for a really nice holiday and just say, stuff it, or rebuild again.
Yep.
And it was the clients, my staff, doing it for more than just myself, my own selfish wants and needs and goals. That forced me to grow.
Let's talk about that. Let's jump forward and talk about, when your first clinic burnt down. How long had this been running for at this point?
That one, so it was 2 and a bit years at that stage.
And it's pretty successful at this stage? Like,
yeah.
It built up from you to how many people by now?
So it probably would have been about 10 staff at that point in time.
Okay, so it's humming along.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Like, were you at home? Did you receive a phone call? Like, what happens?
So I just gone through a breakup at that time. So I was
They say everything happens at once.
Oh, man. So I said, no, stuff it. I'm going to go out, have some drinks. So I went out and I was drunk and
Well, it's probably a good way to receive the phone call.
No.
Is this a joke?
No. So it was when I woke up in the morning,
Oh,
I
shit.
looked at my phone and there was like 50 missed calls. And I
Wow.
thought, oh my God, what is going on? I was already feeling sad for myself because I was hungover. The first person that got a hold of me was my sister. And she's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but everything is gone. I said, this does not go well with my hangover. That's literally the first thing that came out of my mouth.
Wow.
I was just in such shock. I just couldn't believe that it had happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took about a week for me to come to terms with everything. But the community.
So did you go straight there? And see it?
Yeah. And
Fuck, that must have been like watching.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a fear that I've had for a really long time, even with this business. I don't know why I always check the lights, check the switches. I just think I can't even imagine what it'd be like going through that. I've been through a house fire, but like to lose your business and then all your, like you said, your clients and employees, it must be massive.
Exactly. It's funny though. I felt really numb. It was too much to take on, and it was only until a week that I really felt the sadness of it and the loss. But the community support was incredible. Across the road from us, there was a medical practice that had just opened up, but they hadn't put doctors and nurses in there. So they said, look, you can have this space for free until you get yourselves back on your feet again.
Wow.
So within a day, we were up and running again.
Wow. Gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, what a period to go through.
Yeah.
And how long ago was this?
That was about 2 years
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, okay. And so you obviously decided not to go on the epic holiday. You got your insurance and you decided to rebuild.
Yes.
And what, same size, bigger?
So I thought the only thing that is going to make this immense sadness go away is if I make something great out of it. So I need to create a space that is twice as big, twice as good, so much better to make this all worthwhile.
Yep.
And now I look back on it and I'm so grateful for that fire.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
And that's what I mean, like
That's the
fork, that's the fork in the road, the little hurdle. If you just go that one step over, then the things that you can achieve.
Beautiful. I think that's a key takeaway, It's a real key takeaway, because I talk about that fork in the road all the time. I talk about the matrix, and it's like, depends which door you pick is going to completely change your reality from that point forward.
Yes.
So
definitely.
Yeah, massive. That's awesome. Hey, you mentioned working with your sister.
Oh man. Is
this a walk in the park? Is it just like picnics?
We together have grown a lot.
Yeah.
Her and I are chalk and cheese. She's really hard. And I'm very soft, and we have two completely different ways of doing things, but our skill set is very different, and together we work well. A big thing to come to terms with was our communication, and we're still trying to tease that out.
Yeah.
We're still getting there.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful for her. I know a lot of people say don't work with family, but there's no one else I would be able to trust more than my sister.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's so nice. And just to have someone to do it with as well.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have someone to bounce ideas off.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know, maybe you just fight about these ideas.
There's a lot of
But to be
there's
able
a
to
lot
do
of
it with
fights.
someone would just be, I don't know, it'd be beautiful. It'd be really nice. What's that?
Yeah.
There's a great saying: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone else.
Yeah.
And it must be really nice.
Yeah. She's got a lot of dedication for the clinic as well. It'll be late at night, and if I have a question or she has a question about something, then we'll just talk about it. Whereas I think a normal staff member would just be like, what the hell are you doing texting me at 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely helped. She has definitely helped to grow the business.
And so have you got like different roles in the business, or do you both just...
Yes.
Yep.
So she sets up like the computer systems, she makes sure all of the licenses are intact. She does all the Google AdWords and all that
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
the multimedia stuff that I have absolutely no idea how to do.
Yeah.
She does that.
Yeah.
And
And you're at the front of the ship.
yeah.
Yeah. I kind of say the same thing. There's a whole team behind me. I don't really know how anything works, but I'm like, here's an idea. And then I just like lob it behind me.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they like
Exactly.
figure out how to do it. It's like Mary, my lovely producer here down the end. I'm like, let's do a podcast. Okay, you sort it out.
Yep.
And then like, here it is.
Yes.
So you work with your sister and you're both incredibly driven from everything that I can see and hearing from you today, and that I've kind of learnt in talking to people about you. So where does this drive come from? I mean, have you always both been super driven? Does it come from like have your parents influenced you? Because like for two girls from one family to be so driven, then there's something in it, right?
Yeah. I think Kate works a lot she's got so much heart, as much as a bitch she is. she's got so much love, and so I think that she really wants to see me do well and the business do well, and she wants to have a good life for her two little girls as well, so working for her family. I don't know, I don't really know where it comes from. Dad's truck driver. Mum, well, he was a truck driver. Mum worked at a library part-time. Yeah, I don't know.
Truck drivers, I mean, they work hard though,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's true.
I mean, you would have learned hard work from your dad.
Yeah, definitely. And he was like a bit of a hard ass too. Like if we were ever upset, just be like, harden up.
That was the answer, was it?
Yeah.
Were you like
so
the boys? Were you like the boys that he didn't have? Did he always?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So perhaps that's where the resilience came from.
I suspect so. Yeah. Harden up. Probably good advice though, right?
I think so. I think sometimes babying your kids too much makes you overthink and too analytical, and whereas if you just kind of harden up, move on, get on with it.
Well, there's this whole like kind of movement going at the moment that we're just way too soft on everyone. That like everyone gets a ribbon at school, whether they fucking come last or first, like they still get a ribbon. And I don't think they call it last. It's just, I don't know, best improved or
a participation
award. And I don't think there's fail anymore. And then like you get into the real world and there's like fail.
Yeah.
And there's last.
Yes, exactly. So people aren't prepared for it.
No. I heard this great analogy the other day, and it said, in the Olympics, everyone remembers who wins gold, silver, and probably bronze. You can be the fourth fastest human in the world, and no one knows who the fuck you are except for your mum.
Yep.
And you're the fourth fastest person in the world.
Yes.
Like that's a reality check, right?
Yes.
Like if you've got to be first, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I mean, the fourth fastest in the world and no one's got any idea who you are.
Yeah, and just not to be prepared for that.
Yeah,
and you look at the
business is the same.
Yeah, you look at the prevalence in like mental conditions for people, and you think, if you're babied so much, then you're not ready for the real world.
Yeah.
Because it's harden up.
Yeah, it's harden up.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Hey, I want to talk about how you've made your business so successful. We were talking before we started recording about service. Also, you've done an incredible amount of training. So, like, how do both of those things kind of relate, in your opinion, to how successful your business has been? Because I know you said your clients are really important to you, but then you as well seem to have done like way more qualifications than you have to, I guess.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I'm sure they both feed into the success of your business.
Yeah. I think as cosmetic injectables are getting more and more popular, it is important to be at the front of your game, not only to be the leader in business, but also for the benefit of your clients as well. So on our Instagram, we do have a lot of our before and afters. So we need to make sure that they're better than anyone else's.
Yeah, that's true. I love the transparency though.
Yes.
Yeah. Even your little wince when you were getting it done, I was like, oh, that looks too painful.
Oh, I'm such a so we make sure that we're doing training we've got trainers coming into the clinic every month to do upskilling with the girls. And then either myself or I'll send one of the girls off to do international training once a year. And then we'll come back and then we'll teach each other how to do, if we pick up any little tips or tricks Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, are other people doing this, or is this like, have we just highlighted a little secret to your success here? I mean, international trips, that's like epic.
Yeah. Well, so
We're talking like first class trips to New York. Is that can I come and work for you? I'll learn to inject shit.
well, because we buy so much product from the medical company, they're really, really good to us. So they'll actually be the ones to send us away on these trips each year. And that's the best thing about being an owner operated clinic as well. I think if you look at a lot of these bigger chain clinics, then because they've got so many nurses in there, they don't really get those opportunities. But because we're a slightly smaller owner operated, I can make sure that these skills that I'm learning or the other girls are learning are all passed on to each other.
Yeah, nice.
And that's why I think that we've got some of the best nurses.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, great strategy though. I love that. Like if you're going to teach one, get them to teach everyone else.
Exactly.
The whole team up skills.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
And so I guess then it's really important for you to look after your staff so they don't leave because
I know.
that's your IP, right? Like you want to keep that in the business.
Yeah, they are the most incredible nurses.
Really?
Hands down. Yeah.
So what do you do like for them?
The staff morale is really good. We always have, I know I don't know if this is even like worth mentioning, but like every Friday we do like sushi Friday or a wrap platter Friday.
Nice.
So we kind of bring lunch in for everybody. And we always make sure that we do like little dinners together or going out to the movies and little social things to kind of keep everyone together, keep the morale lifted.
Nice. Yep.
I'm also really flexible with the girls. Like if they want to go on holidays and they go on holidays, there's no, tension there. Gosh, I don't know. Now that you mention it, I think I need to do more for them.
But if you're not losing them, it sounds like you're doing... I don't think creating a great culture is about doing things for people because I think if you do, and I've learned this, is that if you just do things, they just start to expect it.
Yeah.
And so like Sushi Friday is cool the first couple of times and it's like, where's the fuck's our sushi, Emma?
Yeah.
After a while.
But also like showing recognition to your staff as well. Like if they do...
love it.
So we've got a Facebook group just for the Injects Clinic staff and we all share on there our before and after work.
Okay.
And if the girls do something, I always make sure that I thank them and give recognition. I watched quite an interesting social study a while ago where there was two groups of people. Each were made to build like a little statue of Lego, and one group was paid like 10 cents and then the other group was just given gratitude, recognition. So anyway, so this one group gave their little statue to the person and the person looked at it, tore it apart, gave the money, said, do it again. And then the second group gave their statue to the person and the person was like, this is great. You did such a good job. I love it. I'm going to hang it here. Can you please make me another one? And so anyway, they kept on doing this process and the group that worked longer and more was actually the group who was given recognition.
Wow.
So it's not always just
It's
money.
not stuff and it's not money. I love this.
Yeah, so it's showing appreciation to your staff. I think it's super, super important.
I think you've nailed that. That's so awesome. Hey, so you won the Young Entrepreneur of the Year last year. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, that must have been such a highlight, right?
Yeah.
That's massive.
I feel a bit funny talking about it because it's like, the tall poppy syndrome.
No, but fuck that, right? Like that. I honestly think this is one of the worst parts about Australia. I love America because they applaud successful people.
Yes.
And so, look, honestly, talk about it because if you don't enjoy those moments, well, what's it all for?
Yeah,
right. So you won for a reason.
Yeah.
What did it feel like?
It was really, really nice to have my mum and dad there.
Nice.
And just to see like how proud they were of me and my sister as well. And it was nice to be recognized as a business and to sit back and think, holy crap, like from just starting out injecting from a beauty room to what this is now and standing in front of a crowd applauding us.
Yeah, wow.
That was a cool feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's social recognition too for what you're doing is amazing, and it is amazing. And I know like so many of the girls who work here and other people that I've met, they really do look up to you and what you've created, and that's quite an achievement. So, but I think it comes back to what you said. It's about those forks in the road, and where maybe some people would go one way, you go the more difficult way, and it's kind of got you to where you are today. And I'm sure it's going to get you a lot further. So that's so awesome.
It's funny, like winning that award, a part of me kind of felt guilty as well. I felt as though I know the business is wonderful, but I thought, man, I don't feel deserving of it and I need to do more. So yeah, it kind of it inspired me to
do
say,
more.
okay, like I have to push myself.
So you've built this level of success and winning that award's amazing and getting the business to where it is. Do you feel like you've had to make sacrifices that others wouldn't to kind of get to where you are now?
100%. I remember this point in time where like all I could think about was my business. And I started to think that I had some kind of problem because people would talk to me. The only thing that I could talk about was my business.
They're like blah, blah, blah. And you're like business.
Yeah.
What did you say, injects? Oh, sorry.
Also, the money that I pumped into it as well, like that was my whole life savings as well. So, missing out on, parties or holidays and things like that, but it was definitely worth it. Anything good never comes easy.
Has it all been worth it? If you look back now on maybe some of the sacrifices that you've made, would you say if you had your time over, you do it all?
Yeah, definitely. I think I lost relationships because of the business and because I had that tunnel vision. I still love my partner, but I just had this goal in mind that I had to go towards, and that made my relationship, I think, kind of slip away. But I think if it wasn't strong enough to withstand that, then it wasn't worth it in the first place, right? So definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it, but some sacrifices along the way. Hey, you brought up relationships. So I want to ask you about dating.
Yes.
I mean,
oh gosh, not very good at it.
Really?
Well, if you look at my track history, there's your answer.
No, you know what I want to ask you? Like, obviously you're an 11 out of 10. You're very successful, but I suspect that would intimidate most or a lot of men at least. I mean, is that the case?
It's funny and it's a trap because a lot of men at the start, they love it and they see, this strong, like powerful, woman. But then it gets to a point where I feel as though they're trying to compete with me. And that there's a power imbalance and then they end up putting me down and then it just goes to shit. So,
and isn't that funny when you're around someone that you kind of see as maybe above you or doing more than you? There's two ways: you either step up or you drag them down.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
try to at least.
Yeah, exactly. So,
hey, so you're 10 years in now. What does the next 10 years look like?
I think this second clinic, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
So dividing my time equally between the two clinics, growing the staff, I think 2 will be enough. We will incorporate some more treatments through there. And obviously, I really want to have a family. So finding that balance and getting that success.
So doubling the size of your business and starting a family, finding balance. This sounds like an awesome 10 years.
Yeah.
Can we just check in again in 10 years and see how it's all kind of gone?
We'll get there.
Hey, but growth is so exciting, right? Like I say, everything in life is either growing or dying, and I pick growing. So I think just opening a second clinic, doubling in size, I assume doubling in size or maybe more, I don't know, having the challenges of doing that, running 2 different spaces. I mean, it's
exciting.
It's so exciting.
And it's fun.
Yeah. Well, the growth is the fun because you've got to grow to be able to handle that. And then I think that's the fun part.
Yeah. It's been such a roller coaster, personally as well, and just learning different people's personalities and adapting to everybody as well. That's part of it too.
What have you found has been the biggest challenge and also the biggest privilege in being a leader?
Oh, that's a good question. The biggest challenge, and I'll never forget it, I wasn't used to asking people to do something. I don't know if you came across that when you started your business, but just to ask someone, oh, can you please mop the floor?
You feel like you should do it, or
I just felt so uncomfortable asking somebody to do that. And the way people respond to you asking them to do something. One person is so different to the next. And that's what I mean is what I was talking about before, adapting to people's different personalities and just understanding people a little bit better. That's been a challenge which I've actually really enjoyed figuring out.
Yeah.
The biggest privilege would definitely be seeing people grow in their own lives. One of our nurses, she does some rural injecting with another one of the doctors. So she's got like her own little side business, which is fine. I don't mind. And she's looking at going into studying medicine. One of the other girls, she was working at another day spa, and she is incredible. So she's one of our managers, but when she was working at this day spa, she was just an eyelash technician, and they didn't give her any recognition there. And she is one of our most valuable staff members. She manages the clinic so well. She runs eyelash courses. She does everything. So to see her go from 0 to 100 within, just a few years, it's really cool to see. And she's so happy too. So I could tell a different story for each one of my staff members and their growth.
It's beautiful, right?
It is a privilege.
It is a massive privilege. And, I think being a leader, and I don't know how comfortable you are with that term. I mean, it took me a really long time to get comfortable with that term.
Yeah.
And even now it kind of feels a bit weird, but that's what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't, because we've got so many managers in the clinic, like my sister helps to manage the staff. Nadine, that girl that I was just telling you about, she helps to manage the staff. One of the other receptionists, she has taken on that role of, asking other people to do things as well. So it's everyone working together. So I don't feel as though I am like the high and mighty leader, you know, because we're all doing that job together.
Sure. But you are, right? But here's the uncomfortableness that everyone kind of faces. Like, I think you are.
Well, yeah, the big decisions always boil down to me. So, yeah.
So you are.
That's nice.
And you know what? Like, culture, I'm sure, comes from you, and the drive of the business comes from you. So, like, it is you. I'm sorry to inform you. It's you. The buck stops with you. Hey, if you could go back to day one, where it all began with everything you've learned over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to little Emma Taylor?
Just jump in. Just do it. Stop thinking about it so much. Stop stressing yourself out. Everything is going to be okay if you keep finding the silver lining.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've read it yet, but obviously I told you to read Man's Search for Meaning.
I started that book.
Okay.
That's really cool. I got sidetracked by another book called When Breath Becomes Air. It's like a medical one. Did I tell you about it? Yeah. So that's my next one.
Yeah.
I'll get into it. But that's finding the silver lining.
It's finding the silver lining.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only like a few pages in, but yeah.
It's an incredible book, but just the concept, and you brought it up, is that he teaches that if you can find meaning in your suffering, you can get through anything.
Yes.
And so whether it's meaning or the silver lining, which, both kind of the same thing, you can get through anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's that resilience piece that you've spoken about.
Yeah.
And a real key takeaway from this interview is that we're all going to go, like, the shit's going to happen, right? Like, it's always going to happen.
Yeah. But it's an opportunity.
But it's an opportunity. Find the silver lining and grow from it. Oh, massive takeaway.
Definitely.
Hey, that is normally our final question, but I'm going to ask you an actual final question.
Have some coffee for this one.
No, it's for women that are listening to this and thinking about starting their own business, specifically women. What advice would you give them?
I think a lot of women are perfectionists, and I don't know if you've heard of the law of diminishing intent. So that's where you have an idea and you want to make it so perfect, but it will actually never be perfect. And the more that you try and make it better and better and better, your intent actually diminishes. So sometimes you just need to go with what you've got and do it.
Yeah,
and then once you're there, just work everything else out.
Yeah.
You just need to start. And once you start, you'll make it happen.
Yeah. cracking advice for guys and women. Hey,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Emma, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I think we got a couple of shots in your Baileys there, a couple of Bailey shots in your coffee. So
Start the weekend off right.
yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.